people to understand for themselves how the belief that awakening makes your life perfect is not true, and how the way you view your life is quite different with awakening, and that changes your relationship with it. And as a result, suffering doesn't happen. So it's more of a consequence. It's not that, oh, my life will be perfect and all nice stuff happens. It's like, no, shit still goes down, but how you see it, how you respond to it is completely different. And so suffering rarely happens. Rarely happens. I'm reluctant to say never. I don't want to make any promises, because that was the trouble that got us in here in the first place, you know, in terms of, if you really investigate, and if there is that inner space cultivated inside, you're always okay. And no matter the hell that's in front of you, you're still okay. And so I suppose there is that fine line between being disembodied and you're okay because you're actually left your body, but we're emphasizing being in your body, totally authentically. I'm here in this body, people to recognize how that works for them and what are the shifts that they have to make in order to be able to view from a different lens of perception, view from a deeper one. You can always plug back into your human suffering if you want, but you'll see that it's limited and it's contracted and it's learned and it's conditioned. And why would you go there? You know, so that's the first thing, really, is like pull back there, understand how you can still get caught in a me, myself, I story. And, you know, the mind is tricky. So the mind will say, oh, but you lose out all these things. Like life will be bland and boring because nothing will really throw you. Oh, no. Experiences then will be just like, no, don't you want to just engage and feel alive? And it's like, okay, that's the mind. That's the mind saying, hey, I'm your friend. I'm your friend. Come on, like stay back in here believing that you are a person and separate an individual. But of course, it's just a belief system. It's not the truth. And there is a turning point that we all have to reach, which is actually believing my mind, no matter how attractive my mind makes it, it always leads to pain. That's a huge turning point of like, no, I don't care how wonderful it promises to be. It always ends up in pain, and it does. And so with that inner movement within ourselves, now how do you manage and how do you deal with crap that comes up? What are your avoidance strategies? Do you avoid conflict? What do you avoid? What do you run from? How are you around being called out? How are you around being less visible, about being misunderstood? Do you have skills that you need to learn in order to manage life in a way? Like, what are the new skills you need to learn so that you can manage life in the awakened way, rather than going back into the habits and the conditioned responses that your brain is so familiar with? And that's a real shift. That's the shift I want to talk about. Is like, you're going to go back into the conditioned responses unless you learn new skills, unless you learn how to view life in a different way.